Hi, everybody at CWAM, Companies with a Mission. Welcome to YWAM San Diego Baja and our Homes of Hope program. So great of you to show up in between Christmas and New Year's here. It's going to be a great couple of days. Unfortunately, I can't be with you. I'm going to be in Costa Rica. We have about 80 people that are building 3 homes down there, and this is our 4th year in a row that we've been doing this program with some business folks down in Costa Rica. So I'm unable to be with you, but I've left you my wife and daughters and son-in-law, and she'd be a great build. And my mom's here to serve you guys as well. So left you the best that I had to be with you. I just wanted to just take a moment and just greet you guys and let you know how thrilled I am that you're here. I had a good friend, Phil, pass away with cancer just a few days ago, and I visited him in the summer. And one of the verses that we shared together, had a good moment together, some tears and just prayers together, was out of John 14. And in John 14, it says that Jesus goes to heaven to prepare a place for us. In other words, he's building our own personal home of hope up in heaven. And he says, I do this so that where I am, you can be also. And as we think of Christmas and all that it means this holiday season, we think of a God who didn't just send a payment or an answer, he sent a person. And the very nature of the kingdom of God is relationships. Whenever we move relationally, we move with reality. Whenever we move institutionally, we move kind of against reality in many cases. They often say that the currency of this world is money. The currency of the next world is relationship. Use some of the next world's currency while you're here. And it'll have great reward. And so this whole CWAM experience, this Homes of Hope experience, is really about using relational currency as we love on each family. Often people ask me, well, would it be better just to send money and then someone else can build it? This seems like a big ordeal to get everybody to fly in and all the food and the transportation and everything. But I think that's part of the brilliance of Homes of Hope, is that we move relationally. You're going to stand shoulder to shoulder next to a poor and needy family. You're going to stand right next to someone who's been living on dirt or with a tarp over their roof or a wall, and you and your family are going to build them a house, and you're going to hand them that keys, and something powerful is going to happen because it's a relational answer. It's a relational transaction rather than an institutional, the government's going to do this or some other entity is going to do this. It's people who didn't have to come are there to serve these poor and needy families. When we look at the early church, there were several rules of the early church, and you can see this in Acts 15 and beyond. And they were debating as the good news grew and grew into the other parts of the world and the Gentiles, which most of us are. There might be some Jewish folks in the room as well, but us Gentiles, it says, have been grafted in to this good, great story. And part of the rules of the early church were don't forget the poor. That's what the early apostles told the Apostle Paul as he was going out primarily with a calling to reach out beyond the Jewish world. They said, hey, Paul, when you go out there, don't forget the poor. And Paul responded back, that was the very thing I was eager to do. About 70 A.D., I was reading a historical account of a Roman provincial governor. And he was maybe 100, 200 miles north of Jerusalem. And this is what his comment was of the early church. He says, these believers, not only, he's writing this, these believers, not only do they take care of their own poor, but ours as well. And that was the mark of the early church. So I think it's awesome that you guys are here during this holiday season to serve the poor. I wish I could be with you, but I'm going to be right there with you in Costa Rica doing the same thing. We're building in a canyon full of Nicaraguans. There's 1 million economic refugees in Costa Rica, most of them Nicaraguan, almost 1 million Nicaraguans in Costa Rica. And this will be our 4th year building in this canyon. Last year we had a wedding, our first Homes of Hope wedding ever. The couple had been living together and were too poor to get married, and so the team got rings and a dress and did a whole ceremony, and maybe Janet can tell you that story as she was there, and my daughter Tiffany. But yeah, just so many awesome things happen when we reach out to serve the poor. And my final comment is I had one of my board members say one time, he said, when you write a check, something's withdrawn from your account. But when you give of yourself, something's deposited in you. And I think that's the beauty of Homes of Hope, is that we have an opportunity to give away something, our time and our talents and our energy. And so I hope you have a great time. And I'm just making this little video on my iPhone and in my living room with my beautiful Christmas tree behind me. So God bless you. Thanks for coming, and thanks for making a difference one family at a time. God bless.